Tonight on Raw, John Cena and Batista as a tag team. How would they work out? David Otunga from NXT makes his Raw debut, and Jack Swagger shows up and has something to say. Tonight, right here, right now, it's your Raw review from Big Al and the Kick-Ass Wrestling Show. Tonight on Raw, the first thing that we see is the new World Heavyweight Champion, Jack Swagger, come out, and he has a few things to say about Raw. He thinks Raw is a weaker brand and that he could beat anyone on Raw. I don't know how I feel about Jack Swagger as the champion. I don't like anyone who's not at the top of the ball game, at the top level in wrestling as far as over, mic skills, in-ring workability. Unless you're on that level, I really don't think you should have the World Heavyweight title. You shouldn't have the main title, or one of the two main titles. It should be one title in the WWE. So I'm not so sure about Jack Swagger yet, but I will say this for him. He is very good on the microphone, and he has a good look. I mean, it's hard to you put your finger on it, but sometimes a wrestler just has a look, and that can help get them over, and sometimes they just don't have that look. I think Swagger has it. He looks like a wrestler. He looks cocky. He's a pretty big guy. I could see him as champion, but not right now. It's too soon for Jack Swagger. Anyhow, he has a few things to say. John Cena comes out to confront him, gives him a little lesson about how he needs to make the fans happy and all this. And then Randy Orton comes out, and I don't know why everyone was coming out for Jack Swagger. I guess he offended some of the Raw wrestlers, but everyone started coming out for Swagger because then Sheamus came out. So that was a little odd. I mean, you knew a match was coming here, but such a weird mix-up. John Cena and Randy Orton. I know they were tagging last week, but now Jack Swagger in the mix, who Randy was fighting last week. Then out of nowhere, Sheamus. Sheamus had something going with the Hart Dynasty, I thought. I thought maybe they were going to push the Hart Dynasty or help or have them involved with Bret Hart, maybe in something with Sheamus. But now Sheamus is out of there, and I guess on to this situation, or maybe they're just being used weekly. I don't know what they're doing with Sheamus. But either way, we have a match set up for tonight. Randy Orton is going to take on Jack Swagger, and John Cena must team with Batista to take on Sheamus for the tag team titles. So fast forward a little bit, we have Randy Orton against Jack Swagger. This was probably my favorite match of the night. I know it's a shocker. Yes, I'm a big Randy Orton fan, but there's a lot of reasons for that. He's a great wrestler, amazing on the microphone, good charisma, good look. When he comes out, the crowd pops hard. When he does his RKO, the crowd goes crazy. When he's about to punt someone, the crowd goes nuts. They love Randy Orton. So whether he's a face or a heel or a tweener, they love him. Also, speaking of that, Randy Orton tried to RKO Cena, which I like. That's something Austin would have done back in the day. He didn't care if you were a face or a heel. He would have stunned you if you got in his way. That's what they should do with Randy Orton. So that was good. I liked that move. So Randy Orton wins the match against Swagger, beats Swagger clean, and Swagger takes the hell off. So good job tonight with Randy Orton. They've been using him a lot better lately. Get him out of those, mid-card and lower-card matches. They got him now. Main event level. He's always at the top of the card. He came out in the beginning. That's what you need to do with Randy Orton. So that was okay. I don't like that Otunga was there, from NXT. I'm not so sure about that. And I also don't like the whole Cena and Batista being thrown together. As you might imagine, Batista wouldn't make the tag when that match finally did happen. Cena chases him down. They go at it, and they get counted out. Then Otunga comes out and says, I'm going to be John Cena's partner later in the night to take on Sheamus. So poor Sheamus, defending their titles left and right. So next they got to defend him against Otunga and Cena. Otunga leaves Cena. Same thing Batista did. So poor Cena getting backstabbed left and right. Not like he expected Batista to be there for him, but Otunga sort of made it seem as if he would be, and Otunga took off. So Otunga did an okay job as a GM, I guess, but he still has a lot of work to do. Let's let him stay on next and develop a little bit more. He's not there yet. None of those NXT guys, including Brian Daniels, or Brian Danielson, or Daniel Bryan, or whatever you want to call him, including him. Those guys aren't ready. Sorry. We also had Kofi Kingston taking on Sheamus. Sheamus pretty much squashes him. Poor Kofi. We thought he was getting the push. Now he's laying down for these guys. So Sheamus gets the victory. And I don't want to say out of nowhere, because they told us Triple H is coming, Triple H is coming, Triple H is coming. And then, Sheamus said a few words. Finally, Triple H came out, confronted him. They had a sledgehammer versus steel pipe match, and the sledgehammer won. So I guess Triple H and Sheamus' feud will continue, as boring, as it is. This was one of the worst segments on Raw tonight. Sheamus just talking and talking. He's really not very good on the microphone. I'm sorry. His in-ring work is good, but he has a long way to go on the microphone. Triple H, we know he's awesome, but I don't think there's anything there in this feud. And their match at WrestleMania, nothing to write home about as far as I'm concerned. So I did not like that segment. I don't think that there's much there. But I did like the Sheamus-Kofi match. That was pretty cool. Red Carpet Battle Royal, we're going to skip over. Ted Debiasi apparently has got the $1 million belt from his father. And he took on Christian and defeated Christian. Christian doing the clean job again. We all know Christian is going to get buried by McMahon because he went to TNA and he was so big for them, right? Christian should have known that before he went back to the WWE. He was too good at TNA. He was their champion. So McMahon has to embarrass, the best thing that they had and just run right over Christian left and right. Christian can't win a match lately. So he loses to Ted DiBiase clean. Ted DiBiase makes a statement, basically talks about how his father was never there for him, yada, yada, yada. Ted DiBiase is the heel, and it looks like they're going to have his father play the face. I don't know if that's a good idea. Ted DiBiase Sr. is one of the best heels, if not the best heel ever. So I think I would make him be the heel. I think I would have him be a little overbearing on Ted, harassing Ted, getting on Ted's case, following Ted around. Let's have the audience feel bad for Ted. What is he doing? This dad, he's not the best father in the world, even though I'm sure DiBiase's great. Let's have that go in the storyline. I think people would be a little more interested, as opposed to DiBiase being a face. I don't know. I'm sure his dad can pull it off. He was a face before, but, I like Ted DiBiase Sr. as a heel because he's such a great heel. As far as Junior, long way to go, kid. The $1 million belt is not going to help you by itself. So that's it. There was really not a lot to talk about on Raw tonight. I didn't think Raw was necessarily bad. They had a couple of good matches. Jack Swagger against Randy Orton was pretty good. Sheamus had to defend their titles twice. I'm not so sure, about David Otunga. But overall, Kofi took on Sheamus. They had some okay matches. Nothing great, nothing spectacular. And like I say for Raw almost every week, nothing out of the box. Raw does not take any chances. Booking 101. Very simple, very basic stuff. So, I like that they had a couple of good matches. I thought that, unlike TNA, they don't stray too often from their storylines. Triple H is still feuding with Sheamus. Batista's still going at John Cena. Don't really know what's going on with Orton. Are they starting something with him and Swagger? But, Raw keeps it simple and you know what's going on. Okay? It's pretty easy to follow for anyone, even if you're not a big wrestling fan. So Raw keeps it simple, and that I kind of liked about that tonight. Especially with how terrible Impact was. What I didn't like, I think it was too soon for David Otunga to be a guest host of Raw and to even be on Raw. He has more work to do, but he did okay. But I'm going to put him in the bad category because he wasn't ready, and he definitely wasn't one of my favorite guests. And him turning on Cena. Is there really much of a story there? Are we really going to go with Cena versus Otunga? I don't think that's going to sell any tickets, less than him and Swagger would have sold. So I don't like that either. I also don't like how they're throwing Cena with different partners every week. It seems a little messy. The Batista thing, it's a decent little feud, but I wonder how much fuel it has left. We'll find out. Overall, tonight, Raw was just kind of blah. It was kind of just not boring, but just run-of-the-mill, right down the line, nothing special. And what was missing tonight? Shawn Michaels. What was missing tonight? Bret Hart. What happened to the Hart Dynasty? Weren't we going to do something with that? I don't know. So I can't say that I hated Raw. I can't say that I loved Raw. I was very much right down the middle. It was okay. Had its moments. Nothing particular pissed me off. So I'm going to give tonight's WWE Raw a C. It's a C show. It was average. It wasn't anything spectacular, nothing out of the box, nothing that's going to gain any viewers or ratings. But I didn't think they did anything too stupid. They didn't do any booking that made me say, wow, what were they thinking? WrestleMania, Bret Hart's family jumps Vince. It definitely beat Impact tonight. Impact was an F. Impact's main event was picking gifts out of a lockbox. So Raw wins the program tonight. A C to an F. Are we going to get a little hype, a little build for Extreme Rules coming up? It's only 2 more Raws away. 3 weeks, but we only got 2 Raws for it. Are we going to get some hype for that pay-per-view? Let's find out next week. Join me then. I'm Big Al, and this has been your Raw Report.